Hi, and welcome to the AZTC Accelerator webinar. Today's topic is Lead with Brand Purpose. The host of this webinar will be Chris Amos, who is the owner of No Boundaries Marketing, whose business is located here at the AZTC Accelerator, and he will be discussing how a business leads with a strong, confident brand purpose and a lot more. Welcome, Chris. All yours.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, well, let's get rocking and rolling today. So we're going to keep this segment short and sweet because really what I don't want to do is go off into a bunch of rabbit holes and, get off topic here, because I think branding itself is worth the conversation of just defining it by purpose and really helping businesses kind of understand what it really means. For most business owners that we talk to, it's kind of that elusive thing. You talk branding, you've heard of the term before, but do you really know what it means? Do you really know what it encompasses? And that, we find a lot of challenges is that, businesses have a jaded perception of what branding is. It's just kind of that loose term that just gets thrown around. So a couple of things that we suggest, and this is how we approach branding, is that, branding is more than just a logo. Branding is more than just the colors you use on your website. It really embodies the life of the business. And I don't say that to be corny. I don't say that to, put some special marketing twist on it. The truth is, our brand and what we bring to market is more than just our products that we offer, our services that we offer. It literally is us. It's what we bring to the table, and it's what we want our business to be known and recognized by. So with branding, we're most commonly associate branding with visuals, with dynamic key visuals. And so obviously the first one is the logo. The logo is a really, really, really strong message that is oftentimes the first thing that a consumer, or business for that matter, looks at when they come to your business. So let's talk about logo design real quick. And this is something that I love. I nerd out on this stuff. I spend way too long creating logos, but it's a fun thing. It's a passion. It's, when you get it right and you really nail a client's vision, it does so much. So for us, again, when you're looking at our website, you'll see our logo, NBMG, and, we have two arrows pointing up, signifying the direction that we look to take a business. And again, there's a lot of things in that, and we're not going to go into so much about our logo right now as how we go about the process of developing a logo. So for business owners, this is what I want you guys to think about when you're looking at your brand or your logo. And again, this is just step one in the process, but when you're looking at that, you really need to ask yourself, what is it that really embodies your business? But I mean, if you're a plumber, again, do we want to be crafty and quirky and maybe do something, plumbing related? And believe me, I've seen some funny logos out there. Do we want to take a humorous approach? Do we want to take more of a serious professional approach? I mean, again, there's so many different angles to go off of, but it really needs to reflect you and your personality, because oftentimes, and again, for me, I'm a really laid back, casual kind of guy. I love collaborating. I love ideas. So for me, although our logo is professional, it doesn't take on that serious tone. It doesn't look like, again, a law firm. Law firms, they need to have that strong, bold logo that, really shows, strength and, all that fun stuff. For us, again, we want a combination. Again, other companies, they have really fun caricature oriented logos. So like I said, this should be fun for you as a business. Really sit down and think about it. What appeals to you? There's going to be 1,000 different opinions out there. And this is what I stress to all my clients. Listen, you're going to have a lot of people tell you a lot of things over the years. And again, for people who have been in business for a while, you already know that. For those who are just getting into business, this is one of those things that, again, this needs to really be about you at this point. Sure, we could do focus groups and we could do all these different things that tell us all these different facts and figures and get all these different opinions together. But the truth of the matter is, to me, and this is how I work with my clients, is that I want it to, this part needs to be about you, and this needs to be about the message that you want to get across to consumers. So again, from a logo, let's have some fun with this. Really think about it from a graphical standpoint. From, are you, like my wife, originally when we were actually putting our company together, my wife, she loves the ocean. Like that, it's just, that's her passion. I swear we should own a boat. We should live on the ocean. And she's just obsessed. But the fun part is, she wanted to have Lighthouse Marketing Group. And oh my goodness, that woman, she is such a creative. She went so out of her way to create all these great ideas. And, she wanted to have a lighthouse with the light, that we're the shining light guiding businesses. And I mean, she really got into that. The unfortunate part is that business name was already taken, so she got really creative for nothing. But again, for us, like I said, we've kind of moved over into the no boundary segment. And again, that was, a shared vision that we both had where, we come from a corporate marketing background and, you're siloed. And so to kind of give you a little bit about how we got to where we are, in a corporate world, you're very siloed. You sell products and services that the company tells you to sell. And that's always been really tough for me because for me, as a small business advocate, I sit back and think, well, am I doing the right thing for my clients? Because I'm selling them this, am I making that work for them, or am I actually doing the right thing? Now, obviously, I sell with integrity, so I always say to, yeah, I am doing the right thing. I'd rather not sell to a business truthfully than sell them something that's not going to benefit them. So over the years, unfortunately, I've lost a lot of great clients or a lot of great potential clients because I just couldn't sell them a product that it wasn't going to work for them. So we look at that, and now with owning our own agency, it's really spawned a whole new dynamic for us because again, I have no boundaries. I can go anywhere. I can do anything. If I don't have a product or service for a client and they have a need, I can go find that solution and I can partner with them to sell that or to provide that solution for them. So, that's really how our business and inspiration was drawn. So again, think deep about that. When you guys, if you're a startup and you're just putting your head together and trying to think about, how can I do this? Be creative, be literal, wherever that direction takes you is really a personal journey that I really, again, we guide businesses all the time with that, but I also do take a step back and I try not to be that overbearing voice that says, oh, you should do this, this, and this. I don't feel that that's my place in this world. I think that, my job is to help coach you and help bring ideas out, but ultimately this is your journey for that. Where we go from there in terms of creating logos, now there I can provide some design inspiration and we can go from there. But again, naming businesses and that initial concept is going to come from the business. So taking it in the next step, once we really nailed that down, again, colors tell so much. How they look on a website, and I'll give you a few examples today. If I was, let's say, a Medicare agent, and I want to target obviously seniors and Medicare aged individuals, obviously, what colors would be best for me? What colors might resonate best with consumers? You got to think about that stuff. Now, obviously, for those, I'm obviously not Medicare age, but I have a lot of clients in that space. So, Medicare cards, red, white, and blue, right? US colors, patriotic, something that really resonates with seniors. So again, as you're doing your branding activities and exercises, it really is one of those things that would be really great for you to consider as, again, fitting in with that agenda, if you will. Now, again, that's just my personal preference. You as a business owner, I have one Medicare agent. He's just the biggest Diamondbacks fan you'll ever find. So for him, we did Diamondbacks red. That was kind of a fun little thing. But again, extremely personal for him. And so he tells a story with that color. For me, I love on my website, I love black and yellow. That's just, it's such a contrast and it's such an eye-catching thing. If you've ever seen my truck, it's wrapped in our logo as well. I'll tell you what, it's visible. That's for damn sure. It is visible. So, but again, for our website, like I said, it's one of those nice contrast colors that really catches attention. It really helps us drive messages home. So again, from a color standpoint, what's in right now? Pastels. You see a lot of pastels, a lot of soft tones right now. Blues are always popular. Just be careful with blues, obviously, for individuals who are colorblind or have, sensitivities to that. That can be a difficult color for them to view. So, just one of those things to be, keep in the back of your mind. I always tell people, stay away from reds in text and stuff like that. That's kind of a no-no. Again, it's, in certain settings, it does make sense and it does work. But for the most part, we don't write paragraphs in red and stuff. Again, very difficult to read. There's a lot of issues with that. But I always say, stay right now, make it visually appealing. One concept that you'll hear messaged around that really, I think, goes hand in hand with branding is going to be UX design. UX design is just a fancy way for me to say user experience. And so what that has to do with is the flow of a website, the look and feel. One thing that you have to be cognizant of, especially when building a website and marketing material, is there's a lot of ADA requirements out there. And so persons with disabilities, we want to try to make provide an equal opportunity for everybody to enjoy and learn and be able to take part in the internet and what services you have to offer. And so part of UX design is really taking that into consideration as well. And that again plays into branding because we want to make sure our colors are conducive to that environment. So again, we'll have a whole nother conversation, whole nother class on ADA stuff down the road. But for right now, again, from a branding perspective, if you're looking at my site right now, obviously you can see, everything's black and yellow and white. Text really stands out. White text stands out really well on a black background. So again, that contrast really works out in our favor. You can see logos, all sorts of stuff. We have audit reports. It's called the hover color, but the hover over it really tells people where they're at, what they're hovering over, stuff like that. So again, this is where you have a lot of fun. But again, for me, black and yellow, very personal. My wife and I, we've been in love with those colors forever. So it works for us. Next up is going to be a concept, and this does again fall into branding, is your messaging. The messaging, if you really need to take some time to think about this. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be a wordsmith to get your branding right or your verbiage right. What you say and how you say it really is everything, right? This is worth its weight in gold. Let's just say that. So let's start off. And again, I'm going to use our website as the example. It's the most obvious we can use right here. But when you're looking at my website, again, for me, your business, our forte. That's a powerful statement to me, because what I'm saying to businesses or potential businesses that are looking at our website is that, listen, we are going to make your business our forte. We're telling you I'm going to learn everything I can about your business to make you successful. There's a lot of messages that can be read into that. And so again, but all of them steer them in one direction, that we're going to do well for a client. So underneath that is our brand statement. And so this again is a very powerful message, because again, it's very personal to me. Being in the corporate world, again, I couldn't always say this type of stuff. I couldn't always, I could say it, I'd just be lying to people. But for this, for our company, we were founded on the basis to simplify marketing and advertising game for small to medium-sized businesses. Our goals are simple: to produce transparent and measurable results for our clients and provide world-class in-house customer service and help them reach their goals by providing a full suite of marketing and advertising solutions. How often do you hear that type of stuff? I mean, again, a catchy tagline, however you want to word it. But again, for me, that's a very powerful statement, because what I'm trying to get across is, again, I want clients to understand I'm not going to overcomplicate this game. You find that so often. You get companies that come in with these extremely technical reports, things that just aren't going to make sense to the average business owner. They throw reports in front of owners that, once they get hired, they throw these reports at them that they know damn good and well they're not going to understand these. And so they err on the side of ignorance. They want that business owner to be so clueless, because at the end of the day, if they're clueless, they're not holding them accountable. Because if they're not holding them accountable, it's just a cash cow. That money just keeps coming in. For me, I want my clients to hold us accountable. Our reports, and we send reports out to our clients every single week, and you'll get that message as you scroll down on the page. We send stuff out every single week to our clients, because again, I want to be accountable for that. I want to make sure that we are driving results. And I have found in my career that when clients pay attention, they look at their reporting, they get so much more out of their programs. So again, you can see, based on experience, that's how we developed our brand message. That's how we developed our statement and our go-to-market strategy, is that this is the first thing I want clients to see, because I want them to understand this is where it all starts. And then from there, I'm setting expectations with my brand message that will ultimately set that foundation moving forward. So for your brand message, the point of this was to really sit down and think about here, and these are some great ideas for you, is that think about what makes you different from everybody else. How do you stand out from the crowd? If you're a plumber, what do you do different? I mean, are you just like every other plumber, or is there a certain way? Do you provide better customer service, in your opinion? I mean, there's a lot to be had from that. Some people will tell me, well, I'm just like every other, I provide the same services as every other contractor. Fair. Okay. So maybe you provide the same services, but how do you do it? What do you do differently? I mean, we can all, I don't want to knock, corporate shops because it's not fair too. I mean, some corporations provide great customer service. Other ones really slack. I think, generally speaking, once you get, so big, obviously there's a certain sacrifice with customer service, right? Especially if you're offshoring and stuff like that. But what I would encourage you to do is really dig deep and think about family owned and operated. Like what is it within your business that makes you unique? I've met with some amazing businesses, generational, type stuff where, you have like 5 or 6 generations of family members working, that's incredible. Like you don't see that very often. So that would be something to kind of edge on. Credibility, awards, different features, different things like that. Those credibility features also fall under branding. And so we want to make sure that from a branding perspective, again, we can establish credibility behind what we do. So again, if you have any awards, Better Business Bureau, Chambers of Commerce, those type of things, they associate our business with something larger than us. And so again, those are great resources to use. The last thing we're going to talk about today is going to be a concept that we call humanizing the brand. Again, nothing fancy. We don't want to overcomplicate it. It's really actually a simple thing, is that for small to medium-sized businesses, the thing that we bring to the table is this, and you'll hear me say this over and over again, and we use it in a variety of ways with clients, but the concept is simple. If you look at Amazon, who's the face? Jeff Bezos? I mean, no, not really. I mean, yes and no at the same time, but there's an entire board of directors. I bet you can't name one of them, Microsoft, any of these large companies out there, they're faceless. They have nobody. You're just a number to them. But with the small to medium-sized business, that's not the case. There's an owner that makes income that feeds a family. That family that's an incredibly personal thing, right? You have employees, you have all these people that, again, it just becomes a much more intimate experience for business or for consumers. So this is something that you can use to your advantage. And I would say something we shouldn't take for granted either as small businesses is that, we are the foundation of communities. We are the largest employment group in the country. There's a lot of positive things to be had from calling yourself a small business. Where some people tend to want to avoid that because it makes them sound almost like, oh, well, I'm going to go to Amazon to shop for a product because they're bigger and they're going to be able to provide me a better deal. Not true. In fact, there's numerous examples where there are retail stores, small businesses that provide a much better end product for a lot cheaper than you can find on open retail markets like that. So again, that's using a retail example. But for your business, like I said, really embrace the successes that you do have, that you do share. So humanizing the brand, bring it home. What charity organizations do you volunteer for? Where have you donated money? What does your staff do? That's another big thing. And a lot of small business owners, small businesses take for granted their staff, not necessarily obviously in production type thing, but for the value that they bring from a visibility standpoint. So don't underestimate those guys. Your staff is a huge critical component of this. What they bring to the table, their circles, there's so much that can be had from that, their contributions to the community. We have some amazing project managers that have done some amazing things. They may not have certifications like some companies do, but you know what? I don't care. They do an amazing job. They work really hard for my clients and they do some amazing stuff in the community. So for me, that's more value than somebody that comes in with some PHP certification or something like that. So again, when you look at that big picture, embrace what you have at your fingertips. Use that in your brand message and humanize your brand. Make sure that people understand they're not just a number. That consumer is not just, a product sale, something like that, or a service. You're not just one more house where I fixed a plumbing drain or a drain or something like that. So branding as a whole, just to kind of circle back on all this is again, it should be fun. This is, if I could get one thing across aside from all the stuff that we talked about today, if there's one thing that I can get across to businesses is that with branding, make it fun. That personality that you put into this is literally going to show. I can't say it enough. You have to have a personality as a small business and as you're trying to attract consumers. Like, especially now that more and more businesses have gone online, finding those key differentiators has never been more important. Having a strong online digital presence, having a strong online brand message to capture attention, humanizing the brand to make that connection with a consumer. It's a must nowadays. Again, if we were to look back to a prior COVID environment, again, it was fragmented. You have a lot of people that still used yellow pages and different mediums to find local businesses. COVID, we were stuck at home. It thrust the majority of people into the internet, into social media, different things like that. So again, you can't ignore it. You have to make sure that you've dialed in your online presence, and it's going to start with these simple little tips. You already got a logo, fantastic. Let's relook at it. Again, it's never too late to make changes. I get a lot of clients in that said, "Oh, I've used the same logo for 35 years." That's fantastic. I mean, and there's a nostalgia with that. And again, nobody's implying we go retro and like really try to reinvent the wheel here. No, but maybe some slight changes can bring it into the 21st century, excuse me. Lots that can be done around that. Brand messaging can always be refined. Again, it's never too late to do that. And it's always worthwhile to, and again, look at it at least and see what you can do to improve. Another thing too is if you're an established business, ask around, talk to your clients, talk to your vendors, talk to your employees, and see, what they would recommend. I mean, it's safe to say with most businesses, especially if you've been in business for 20 years, there's been a lot that's changed since you developed that original logo. And if you've never updated your brand message, chances are you're probably doing a few more things, or maybe you've taken away a couple of things that you used to do. But point being is that there's been change. And so don't be afraid to change, adapt with the market, adapt with the changing world. And I promise it'll keep your brand relevant. It'll keep you top of mind to consumers. And ultimately it will pay dividends in the end. So questions. I think I saw Bill pop up something there. What did Bill have?
Yeah, I think Bill is here. Bill, can you hear us or do I have to, I thought I unmuted.
Yeah, he asked, when choosing a business name, how do you know which ones are taken? Great question, and I'll show you my trusty little list right here called the Office Arizona Corporation Commission. So if you're in Arizona, plug it right in there. And again, have this bookmark, but you can do a little entity search, see if they got an LLC. If they don't have something there, again, come down here to, where is it? There you go, Secretary of State. And that is going to, what's that? Sorry, Lynn.
No, Lynn, I was just saying, I didn't never think of doing that when I was looking for a company name to see if somebody else had it, just for email purposes and, internet stuff. I was like, I knew about the Arizona Corporation Commission, but I didn't know about this. So that's neat.
Secretary of State does all your trade names out there. So again, this is another great resource just to see, has somebody, done a trade name, partner, whatever it is. Again, I always do both just to make sure. And, if not, grab it. I think to register online on the Secretary of State's like $10, if I'm not mistaken, to register a trade name. And that way you've secured it for yourself. So.
Hey, Bill, I think I unmuted you in case you had any other questions, just to let you know.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, don't unmute him. He's going to, oh no. God.
Come on, Chris. I haven't bugged you in a long time.
Don't forget we're being recorded, so.
Oh, okay.
This is going on YouTube, so I always like to remind you, Bill.
So I'm thinking about my next business here that's going to supplement my other business. So
there you go. Yeah, 3 places that I always tell business owners to go. First, Corporation Commission. Second, trade name for the Secretary of State. And third, just go to Google. You can just Google domains. We have an enterprise account with these guys, so we search here. But you can type in whatever URL you want to see if it's been changed. Couple little tips on searching for URLs depending on what it is. So if I had, I don't really have an example, and I'll have a brain fart, of course. But whatever the URL is, if it's already taken and if you're doing something local, add a geography onto the end of it. So like abccorp.com might be taken, but maybe ABC Corp AZ is not.
Right.
So those are all fun little ways to, kind of get around and see what you can do a little bit different to make sure that you make it easy. Also, too, really be cognizant of your domain. Nobody in the world, myself, a pet peeve of mine, if your domain is way too long, like even mine, sadly, I criticize myself. I hate how long our domain is, but kind of what I had to go with. but even for us, it's way too long. That's just so many characters to type, and especially if you're on mobile, it's cumbersome. So the shorter the better. But there's really not any more. I mean, there's very, very, very few, 3-5 letter domains still left, especially on .com. But there are some fun extensions out there like .marketing, I'm trying to think of .online, all sorts of stuff. So there's a lot of those like vanity URLs out there.
Yeah, how about with the logo? When you design your own logo, do you have to get that trademarked or registered or something?
You don't have to. It's always a good idea, again, depending on what you use. The caveat is always this. It all depends on what you use to design the logo. If you took somebody else's design, like let's say you went to a stock repository and you pulled some graphics that somebody else created, it's really tough to trademark that because technically somebody else created that and you just made it your own. But if you have a graphic designer that went out and created a custom image, custom graphic for you, and you think, there's a probability, let's say you're in a highly competitive space, or maybe you use a symbol like, I don't know, like Fox Insurance Group, and you have a picture of a fox, and you don't want anybody else doing a fox out there. So, that might be an instance where you would want to trademark that. But, in general, like I said, if you created an image, it's still copyright protected. So it's not like somebody can go out and just redo that, let's just say.
Okay.
I tell you, I'm full of useless knowledge, guys. Come on.
I do, when you were talking earlier too about brand design and all that kind of stuff, I have to say that as a consumer, when I am looking at ads or business cards, I do notice when somebody does say, 50 years in the business or third generation business, because, okay, you've only been in the business 2 years. No, I'm not going with you at this time, kind of stuff. So for people that have that kind of longevity, they really should advertise it, because that's something that I kind of go right to.
Yeah. My favorite thing with really any type of advertising, and again with branding, it's all about consistency. My favorite's always when you go to somebody's social media pages and they got the logo from like 5 years ago that they used to use, and they went through a rebrand. They just left, cut a few corners, maybe something like that. So I always tell people, you know what, stay consistent with your colors, stay consistent with your brand message, stay consistent with your logo. If you're going to do something, it's worthwhile, because again, that brand becomes synonymous. People remember it. They see, like, I can't tell you how many people that are driving down the road, like, the writing that's on my truck is actually not that, I don't want to say it's not legible. It is. It's very legible, but it's the big No Boundaries Marketing Group, the NMMG. I mean, that's what people look at. They're like, oh, wow, NBMG. Wow, this is awesome. They know exactly who we are. So anyway, like I said.
Very true. I know my husband goes, oh, I saw Chris's truck. So he knows. He associates your truck now with your business, which is great, because he sees you going down Bell or something like that to another appointment, and he'll associate that. So that's very good advertising too for people.
Yep. So I should get a free Dodge truck now. Just throwing that out there if Dodge ever watches this.
Yeah, definitely.
All righty, guys. Well, I'm excited for the next class coming up. Let me see. I think we're doing.
Here it's like August 12th. It's Elevate Customer Experiences.
Oh yes. I'll tell you, especially online now, there are so many cool new resources coming out, even for our business, like some cool stuff that we have coming up that we're going to be launching this year, again, around automation. We have a new ticketing system that's coming out so that clients can submit change requests and all sorts of stuff directly from our website. Makes it much more efficient for them. So again, we have normal operating hours. My people all have families, so they want to be home for those. For their kids and stuff. So, outside of an 8 to 5, it's kind of tough to connect sometimes with clients. And, for me, I'm working till 10 o'clock at night every night. So, when I need to get a hold of a business and they don't answer the phone at 9, that's tough. So online resources is going to be a great way to provide some awesome customer service, better customer service experiences, better connection points with consumers. And so we'll talk a lot about that, some new social stuff coming up, all sorts of it. It'll be good. It'll be fun.
Sounds good.
Awesome. All right.
I think that's it. So thank you, Chris, and thank you, Bill, for joining, and we'll see you next time.
All
All
right.
right,
Okay, bye-bye.
bye.